You use the point spread to motivate the team?
I don't know if I ever have. No, I have. What is it this week?
5.5.
We're underdogs? We're good. All right. Just wrote my Saturday night speech. I'm good. No, I haven't. I've never used it, but I'll just say this: we're nobody's underdog. So if you need a quote.
That's my coach. Attaboy. We're nobody's underdog. Let's go. How about them Cowboys? RC, how about it? How about if I said to you, the Cowboys are going out there to L.A. I watched the Rams play Monday night. They stink. The Cowboys defense is going to terrorize Matt Ryan all night long. My guy Cooper Rush is going to take care of the football. They're going to run it down their throats. And the Cowboys are going to set up a monster game a week from Sunday night at Philadelphia with another win.
Hey, you wouldn't be lying, but let me tell you how bad Matt Ryan was last night. You just said the Cowboys are going to terrorize Matt Ryan, and they could have Matthew Stafford looking like that as well. We watched the San Francisco 49ers and what they were able to do to that front line of the Los Angeles Rams. D'Amico Ryan bringing blitzes, adding extra people to the rush, and winning in four rush situations. Nobody wins like the Dallas Cowboys in rushing four. Dan Quinn has been absolutely phenomenal in adding people from the back end to the rush, whether it's Donovan Wilson or you're bringing Anthony Barr or Van Der Esch, and now seeing Michael Parsons in that defensive end position is scary. Play in and play out. I think the Cowboys are going to win. Now, I'm not like you, and you got to say his name right, Greeny, if you're going to say it. It's Cooper. It is not Cooper. It is Cooper Rush. When Cooper Rush plays with Cooper Rush has Jimmy Garoppolo'd the Dallas Cowboys, right? You're watching the game, and you know it's not special. You know it's not elite, and they just keep winning. They just keep doing exactly what they have to do as a team to get W's. He doesn't turn the football over. He plays well in late game moments, and he makes sure that his playmakers have the football in his hand. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the quarterback's job. And Cooper Rush has been better at than Dak was early in the first game at some of those things. So when you look at this team going forward, I don't believe they're an underdog right now. And I think in many of the games, once Dak Prescott is back, they'll be the favorite. This team has a chance to make a run if they've learned who they are during the Cooper Rush regime.
Cooper Rush and Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, anybody named Matt is in trouble when Micah Parsons comes to town. Okay, put the picks up there because I was way ahead of this one and no one has ever. Oh, this is bad. Hold on a second. This I don't like. This is not good. We cannot be putting this into the ether right now for my Cowboys. Cindy Morello is our director. Cindy, just change two of them randomly. Thank you. I don't care who.
No.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I don't care.
You changed mine.
We will not have all of us picking them. Chris Canty, tell me why the Cowboys are going to beat the Rams despite what it says under your face.
Well, because the Cowboys are going into a home game in L.A. Stadium.
Yes.
That'll be the first part of it. But I think this game will come down to who can keep their quarterback upright and which quarterback can protect the football. And I have a lot more confidence in the Dallas Cowboys offensive line and Cooper Rush than I do with the Los Angeles Rams. After what we saw on Monday Night Football, where the Rams offensive line gave up 7 sacks, 11 quarterback hits, and 17 pressures, yeah, the Dallas Cowboys are going to get after Matt Stafford. They lead the league in pass rush rim weight, and that's going to continue in Week 5.
Brooke, we have assigned you the Rams as well, just for the purposes of the graphic, because I can't have that in the ether. But what is your expectation for the game?
Hey, well, first of all, Mike McCarthy is welcome for us continuing to feed into his pregame talk. I think that this is a Cowboys win because I talked to a defensive coordinator and he told me that, to Ryan's point about they're not doing anything special with Cooper Rush, that's good. I think Kellen Moore is game planning better for Cooper Rush. They're taking what the defense gives them. This coordinator told me that with Dak, he feels like every play he has to be Superman. In this case, they're just keeping it simple and it's working. And so stick with it.
Sometimes the worst thing that could happen to you winds up being the best thing that could happen to you.
The call, I got an issue with the execution. And you have an issue with the execution all night. Players win in critical football moments. Players win in situational football. When you're in the red zone and you throw a skinny and that's picked off by Gilly, you can't do that if you're Russell Wilson. If you have Hamler running wide open to your right and you're not going through your progression and you eventually lock in on Cortland Sutton and Gilly makes another play, that's on the quarterback. Nathaniel Hackett did what he was supposed to do. He put the football in the hands of his $256 million man. At some point, we got to realize we are now ordering Uber Eats. We are now waiting on Waiter. We are not letting Russ cook. If we're waiting for Russ to cook in Denver, we are going to starve.
Listen, I actually agree with everything you just said verbatim. But here's the bottom line. The conversation we were having, RC, that you were out front of, is Russell Wilson is not Aaron Rodgers. He's not Peyton Manning. But right now, he's not Cooper Rush. I mean, he's not. It's one thing for him not to be an all-time great. This is awful. What we are watching in Denver right now is awful. How much of it is the quarterback?
All of it's the quarterback. Listen, when you're an all-time great, like Aaron Rodgers is not going to move a place and all of a sudden not be a good quarterback. And Russell Wilson is still in the prime of his career. Russell Wilson is 33. Russell Wilson has only lived as long as Jesus did before he gave his life for our sins. And so Russell Wilson should be right now ascending, right? It's the way that we see quarterbacks play late into their careers. Tom Brady at 45. Aaron Rodgers about to be 40. These dudes got better at this point. And so you bring Russell Wilson in, and what did all y'all say all offseason? Oh, look at these weapons. We're going to plug him in, and it's going to be fire from the start. Well, it hasn't been, right? It's more like it's been a fire extinguisher adding Russell Wilson to this team. And so you think about the expectations of what this offense had and tie that in with the team knowing what they had defensively. This is an ultimate all-time failure to start a season with one of the best quarterbacks, or quote-unquote thought of best quarterbacks in their era. So when you think about, or when you go to whose failure is this, it solely lies on the shoulders of number 3 to me. This is a team you wanted to go to. This is a team you talked about like LeBron. It's not 1 or 2 championships. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You thought you were going on to the Big 3 and taking your talents to South Beach. That is not what this has been. This has been North Dakota. This has been dry. This has been bland. This has been raisins and paprika on potato salad. This is not what you expected. And it seems that now that we've pinpointed it's not working, it's gotten worse. It hasn't stepped up there. They haven't gotten better. Russell hasn't called you know why you can't call a team-only meeting? You can't call a team-only meeting when you separate yourself from the team. You got to be one of the guys. You got to dig in. Russell Wilson is not one of the guys and not digging in Denver right now.
Chris Canty, that has been a question about him, his leadership, the way he is amongst teammates and other things, the Legion of Boom going back all the way to the beginning in Seattle. Do you see it the same way RC does right now?
Well, yeah, you can't eat everybody's potato salad, so I'm 1,000% with RC on that one. But here's what I'll say. Russell's got to be more aware, especially in the post-game press conference. I don't need to hear Broncos country, let's ride, after you took that kind of whooping in a primetime game. Chill out on that front. But where I will push back on is Russell Wilson all of a sudden becoming a terrible quarterback. If you look at the last 3 years prior to this season, Russell Wilson is 7th in QBR amongst all quarterbacks and 3rd to touchdown interception ratio. It ain't like Russell Wilson has forgotten how to play quarterback. I give him the benefit of the doubt based on his track record. Nathaniel Hackett, not so much. And when we come to the decision that we saw at the end of the fourth quarter with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, you got a 3-point lead. Why are you throwing the football rather than running the ball, getting it to the 2-minute warning and kicking a field goal? Your defense ain't gave up a touchdown all night. To take a 6-point lead in the final 2 minutes of that game, that is gold. That is the opportunity to win the game. That's the call that Nathaniel Hackett should have made rather than going for it on 4th and 1 in overtime down 3.
We're going to have all morning long to continue on this game and all that. Let me get a final thought here, Brooke, from you. It's also a weird moment, and you heard it in that soundbite, when Nathaniel Hackett, the head coach of the football team, says, well, we got the go-ahead to go for it on 4th down, which suggests that someone is giving him the permission to do that. I mean, as long as the game has been played, that's been the head coach's decision. I understand that he brought in someone to help him in game management circumstances, but the decision on whether we're going to go for it on 4th down and kick a field goal there has to be the head coach's decision. As you watch this, how much of it to you feels like the coaching and how much feels like the quarterback?
I think this is on Russ. I mean, you paid him $250 million to not be this bad. Also, I wouldn't be a good pastor's daughter if I didn't point out to RC that Jesus didn't play football and he had like 2 extra playmakers. So I'm just going to point that out. That's why Jesus was in his prime and Russell is not. Okay. I think that this also, though, should broaden out to the conversation of, I know that my expertise is the Steelers here, so I'm going to speak from that perspective, but they didn't spend big money on a quarterback. And yes, they have their own set of problems. We're not going to cast stones. But this is why you don't go out and spend that money, because you could end up with a situation like this. I mean, they spent all this money for what? To get booed at your home stadium, to have fans counting down the play clock? I mean, this has just been an unmitigated disaster the whole way through.
All right, so let me leave that there for the moment. We're going to come back. You're going to hear more from Russell. We will have more coverage of this game, but it's a Football Friday. I want to get to a few others. Our next stop is L.A.